We'll talk a little bit about Tekpi. This is actually a Sai, by the way. It's not a Tekpi. This is a Japanese chromed, cheap-ass version. But Tekpis are actually kind of hard to come by in Europe. You have to... Well, there are some people that make them. Now, I'm going to give you my 5 cents. I'm not... There are people who might know more about this than me, but I know a thing or two about them. Now, first of all, where does these come from? Well, the best bet is India, and this is supposedly where they come from. I don't know. They are common in Malaysia, Indonesia, Brunei, Japan, China, India. There's pieces of this. In Malaysia they're called Tekpi. I think in Indonesia they're called chabang, or sometimes they're called thrisula. And they are not the most obvious of weapons in my case. Now, the difference between a Sai and a Tekpi is actually that the Tekpi, this part is much wider on the Tekpi. They're about this wide usually, and also this weighs about 300 grams, I think, maybe 400. I know it weighs about 400, no, maybe more, 500 grams, half a kilo. The ones that I handled in Malaysia, some of them weighed between 1.5 kilos to 3 kilos. The heavier ones, at least, I believe were not really made for fighting, but just for training, more like Indian clubs. You can go training your arms and your coordination with resistance. I'm sure that's a good way of training. And you look at people like Shegu Ajis, he really is strong, so I'm assuming it has its effect. Now, where does this weapon originate, or how did it come by? Well, some people say it's a spearhead. So the spear is broken, and you just took the head. Sorry. They started fighting with this, but I'm a little bit skeptical to this. I'm not saying it's not true, but I'm a little bit iffy, because why would you take a spearhead and start fighting, training with that? Because there are systems that teach Tekpi and do not teach spear. I mean, I would understand if your spear broke, and now you're also taught to use just the spearhead in case that happened. That could be okay. By the way, at least in the Vapokul, most of the applications I've seen, they aren't with these spinning things that I'm doing now. This is just things they are doing to train up, to train the coordination. Most of it is actually just hitting. They do hit like this, but it's hitting hard, and then you put this in. You don't catch weapons here, by the way, because this is round or has a little bit of maybe octagonal, but it's too slippery to catch any weapons. If you try, I've tried, it just doesn't work. However, you can catch hands, and then you can crack or throw with them. So that's actually how they use it. So hit first, and then go in, thrust this thing in, and just break or throw with it. Now, back to where this comes from. Is it a spearhead? It may have been, but the thing is, most of these, they're not pointy. And if it was a spear, it would be pointy. Kind of makes me think maybe it isn't a spear head. Now, so I've heard a few other explanations. One explanation I got in Malaysia was somebody said, no, it's based on the man. So this is actually a human, and it's supposed to be able to do whatever a human can do. I'm not sure I buy that one either, but it sounds like retro engineering to retrofitting to me. But it might be true. I don't know. My personal theory, which is based upon that a lot of the antique ones are actually quite heavy as well. So I actually have a feeling this is mostly a training equipment. This is mostly a training weapon that taught you how to use coordination and strength in order to use other weapons later. And then it may have evolved into being sometimes used as a weapon. I don't know. Also, I know that there's a story around circulating that it was used as by like police in Okinawa. I don't know if that's really true. I haven't read any sources, but I've heard this story at least. And that it was used for crowd control. So it's basically a baton with the ability to lock. And if you don't have handcuffs that are as easy to use as modern ones, maybe, I don't know, or at least it has some hand protection, so it's better than if you have somebody who has a weapon. Maybe, but I'm not sure it was developed as crowd control, because then it would be, why would, you know, this is a really common weapon in Silat, and most of these Silat systems weren't developed for police officers in the old days. I mean, this was local families or tribes or clans that they used this to defend their villages or homelands. It wasn't for crowd control, so I don't know. If somebody has a better explanation, I'm open to suggestions. At the moment, I'm leaning towards weaponized training equipment. I do not think, however, that it is a weaponized farming tool, because I've heard some suggestions or explanations towards that, and I don't buy it. Maybe it's a barbecue skewer? No, I'm just joking. Actually, I don't know. Somebody knows more than me, please tell me. I would be thrilled.